After a time, most of the board is filled up. I'll just sort of squiggle on it. Now, suppose we're at this situation where there are 4 empty regions, which I've labeled A, B, C, and D. Then the rules of the game force you, effectively, you can only put a counter in one particular place. And that will either be in A, or in B, or in C, or in D. And your move only affects the region, only directly affects, anyway, the region that you put your counter in. If you're the white player, you put a white counter in. If you're a black player, you put the black counter in. And you leave the other ones alone. Now, that gives rise, or exemplifies, the notion of a sum of games. So let me draw you another picture, which is supposed to illustrate the sum of chess and, do you call it checkers here, or drafts as we call it in England? Checkers, okay. So here's the board for one of these things, you know. This is the sort of checkers game. And then here's the board for the chess game, set up as they are fairly near the beginning. And I'm no good at drawing people. So I will pretend the 2 people have just left the room for the moment. The players are called left and right. Oh, sorry, that's the player called right. That's his chair. Oh, no, it's her chair. I have a slight convention that left is male and right is female. They're sometimes called Lefty and Rita. There's nothing prejudicial, or no statement is made of any kind by giving them sexes. It just helps with the pronouns. You say he, she, and you know which player you're talking about, rather than saying the player left and the player right, and so on. Okay. And the way you play the sum of these 2 games, chess and checkers, or checkers and chess, is when it's your move, you make a move that would be legal for you if that were the entire game, and you leave the other game alone. And if, you know, then your opponent chooses, possibly independently of whatever you chose, behaves in the same way, makes a move which would be legal for her. Let me just sort of try and introduce these conventions a little bit at a time, if that were the entire game. And you might have a situation where one player makes 5 consecutive moves in the checkers game and doesn't touch the chess game at all, and then suddenly notices, oh, it's developed into a rather threatening position in the chess game, I'd better make a move there. I hope you understand that the moves you make, if there's a camera just focused on one particular game, it sees a rather unusual game where the players do not move alternately. Fine. Now, what happened was I was in Cambridge University at the time, and then the British Go champion became a research student at Cambridge in the math department, and he used to bring in his Go-playing friends occasionally, and they played Go. Okay. And Cambridge being what it was, people would stand around and discuss the moves and try and work out why this one was better than that one, and so on. What it did for me was decide to study what I later called the theory of partisan sums, or sums of partisan games, which I'd intended to study for quite some time, but never got around to it.